So today you're going to get some pro caddy advice from Chris from Caddy Clubhouse, who's caddied for some of the biggest names and still does on tour. We're talking Tyrrell Hatton, Howard Varner III, and I know the stuff that he's going to tell you today that is going to, well, one word, tell you what, might blow your mind and how you're going to attack golf in general. Par threes, for most club golfers, Chris, these are like a danger hole. What's the first thing we've got to look at as a club golfer when we get to a tee? Because most people go, all right, okay, I play the 16th hole here at Mottram all the time and I literally use the same club.
Yeah. I think for us is obviously getting the front number, getting the pin number, and then you've got to take the wind into consideration. A lot of people don't do that. They just get on the tee, they see it's 165, and they hit a 165 club.
Yeah.
There could be a 20-yard wind up there, either hitting or into, which then changes the club by maybe one, maybe two clubs.
Okay, so you mentioned front, middle, back there. Like most people, again, I just say, go autopilot. We get here and we just like, okay, we'll use that club. What do you mean by front, middle, back? Because you've got a book on tour. Yeah. Most club golfers will have either a laser or a yardage device.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, like I said, if the pin's at the front, there could be trouble at the front. So you then got to take into consideration where you want to pitch that ball. So we then will start adding 5 to 10 yards on, which is a club. To get it past the pin into the heart of the green, because then we're going to start taking the trouble out of play.
Okay, so talk me through it. We're here. Let's get a yardage. Yep. Let's go for this.
So
I do have a laser on the side of my bag.
Yeah. So right. Well, we'll get. Where is the laser?
Just there.
Okay. So say we get. So now the first thing we're going to do is get on the tee. We're gonna laser. Say it's 196 yards.
Come on, that's
to
not
to the middle of the green, but as you can see, it's slightly downhill as well. So let's say it's 5 or 6 downhill. That's 190 yards. I mean, right now there's not a great deal of wind there, so we're basically going to hit a 190 shot. Now, for me, caddying for an amateur, I would say a par 3 is you're trying not to make a mistake in terms of making double bogeys. Don't try and chase a birdie. Let's try and get it to the heart of the green, make our 3 and get out of there. Worst case scenario, we're gonna make a bogey.
I think that's a really key point, because I know myself, and I'm sure everybody watching this right now, we'd be like, right, I am gonna go for that flag. Yeah. I'm taking it on. But you're saying some of the best players in the world that you caddy for, they don't go for a flag on a par 3.
Not all the time. I think there's a time and a place when you do it. When it's 196 yards, slightly downhill, and we're going in with 6 iron. No, we're trying to hit it to the heart of the green, make 3 and get out of there, because at the end of the day, if you make pars on all the par 3s, you're gonna make your birdies on the par 4s and the par 5s. So
that's really interesting, because again, I keep coming back to this. We are all told to like be a little more aggressive, try and get near the flag, got a better chance of holding a putt. But in reality, you're saying you look at the par 3s in a totally different strategy. You're looking at them in the sense of just don't make a mistake.
Just don't make a mistake. Like I said, there's a time and a place. I mean, if we're stood up there and we're 130 yards and the flag in the middle of the green, I'm not going to sit there and say don't be aggressive to it. There's a time and a place, but like I say, you're not going to lose too many shots if you make 3s, 4s on all the par 5s.
Okay.
On all the par 3s, sorry.
Now you said 6 iron, which is quite ambitious for me. I think more like 5.
I mean, you can go. Let's go with 5 iron.
So we are going to play this hole, but if we sort of said to people, this is a bit of a guide of what you've just said, is you walk up to the tee, you're getting to the tee, you're taking into account front, middle, back. Yeah. You then take into account wind. Yeah. You then take into account slope before you even pull a club. Yeah, that would be like the idea.
I mean, it's preparation. I mean, I do that on pretty much every shot, on the tee, whether it's par 4, par 5s, par 3s, is getting your playing numbers and taking the wind into account.
Okay, that's always a hard one, I think, for club golfers. I think a lot of people will go, it's a bit into, a bit down, I don't really know what to take on and add to this. Again,
and this is what we've tried to incorporate into our courses, so that the people get a better understanding of how to judge wind, how to do slope, how to work out yardage books, how to work out playing numbers on par 3s. So that's been a crucial part of the course as well.
So playing number right now, we're saying 190.
We're saying 190 because it's downwind. But let's that's great. The greenkeeper's actually put the flag in so we can get an accurate number. Okay. Okay, so it's, Alex, I think you need to update your name.
Well, I've just got different eyes to you.
Okay, so It's 100, we weren't far off. It's actually 198 yards. It's probably 5 or 6 downhill, so it's 193.
Okay.
As you can see, the flag is at the front of the green, okay? And you can see that looking like short of it is probably not the best play. And then we're going to try and hit it to the heart of the greens. So that 193 yardage, we're going to now play it 200 and try and play it to the heart of the green and try and give yourself the best chance of making 3.
Okay,
so trying to take the mistake out of it, basically.
So front flag, play past it.
Play past it.
Okay, cool. Right, let's hit this shot. And I've got a few more questions that I really want to go to here. So you mentioned aiming before. This flag's quite central. How do you get your player? So again, we said here, the flag's middle of the green on this.
Yeah.
But if the flag was on the right, is there like any illusions or anything that you sort of get your player to do to really be focused on the middle of the green as opposed to, because it's so tempting, right? I stand here, I aim middle before I know I'm aiming at the flag. Yeah. Is there anything that you're saying to your player before they hit the shot to really get them focused?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if the flag's on the right hand side and there's trouble on the right hand side, I always try and keep it positive. I'll never try and put a negative into his head before he plays it, because if I put negatives into a head, from a golfer's perspective, it's going to stick there and you're going to miss it there. So I'll always just say to him, listen, the best spot to miss this is just left of the flag, and try and pick a spot maybe behind the green, whether it's a grandstand with a letter. For example, on this hole, you can pick out a tree, and that's got to be our finishing target. And I basically tell him to just take no notice of the pin.
Interesting. I never thought about it that way. So your illusion is that you're always giving yourself a positive on the aim. So if the trouble right, good place to miss it is left.
Well, I would never say to miss it. I would never say to miss it there, because if you're going to miss it, like I'll never say don't miss it right. Yeah. I'll always say just keep it left of the pin, which is going to give yourself the best opportunity to either make a birdie or 2-putt for a par.
And if club golfers start thinking more like what you're saying right now, even in their own game, whether they want to get into caddy or not, that's definitely going to help you lower your scores, which is everything this channel's about. Okay, Chris, so I'm going to hit this shot. I'm going to focus on a little bit, just left of that flag really for me, in this sense. Okay, here we go. I mean, I've hit it pretty good. It's a little bit leaking. Get a piece. You know what, for me, fringe, 5-iron, 1 night, I'm pretty happy with that.
I mean, as you can see as well, it's pitched past the flag, so you've basically took the trouble out of it. All right, you've missed the green slightly, but it's giving you the best opportunity to get it up and down for 3, and worst case scenario, you're making 4.
We're not miss short.
Exactly. You're not short-siding yourself, which then starts bringing the higher numbers in, double bogeys, triple bogeys, which we're trying to avoid.
So I've got a few more things I want to ask you as we go down this hole, which I think are really key for these guys right now. Okay, so we've mentioned a few things here that golfers can essentially improve upon. We've mentioned taking away the big miss, minimising risk, that illusion of missing in the right area. I want to know this though, like swing thoughts. I think this is big because sometimes you see a lot of caddies get really involved in this. Yeah. Other caddies sometimes don't get as involved. Like, what's your opinion? How do you manage like swing thoughts for a player?
I mean, we basically are like on the practice round before we go out, the guys will always have a different swing thought, whether it's rhythm, whether it's takeaway, whether it's a feeling they have on the downswing, and it's trying to maintain that on the golf course in terms of trying to keep it simple. Let's not try and overthink it, and it's more about just seeing the shot. Yeah. Filling your mind with positive thoughts. I think certain players, the more they overthink it, the more then they stop thinking about what they're actually trying to do with the shot.
So are you constantly reminding, let's say Harold, like, are you constantly reminding him like of things that he's been working on if the round's not going too well, or are you very much sort of like you just said there, more into the shot, more into, okay, where are we trying to hit it, what we're going to process, what shot we hitting, what's the slope, what's the wind?
Yeah, I mean, we try and keep it as simple as we can when we're on the golf course. For Harold, it's more about tempo and rhythm. It's about seeing the shot, keeping the swing smooth. And then obviously if things start going wrong on the golf course, it's just reminding them, hey, try and do this simple swing thought that you've been working on the range, just to try and get that feeling back, so we're not getting through 18 holes and then it's been like, oh, right, okay, we should have done this 10 holes ago. But we try and keep it as simple as we can, really. Now,
you've obviously learned all the little tricks of the trade over the years of caddying. How long have you caddied for now?
17 years now.
You're showing your age.
Thanks.
But it's a bit of like I guess it's a bit of smoke and mirrors, I would say, of how to get into a caddy. Like, these are all the skills that you've learned along the way, really, isn't it? Whether speaking to the caddies, from players that are maybe older than you and caddying for the people. But you got Caddy Clubhouse, like you mentioned 2 courses earlier in this video, because I know a lot of people right now are thinking 2 things here. Oh, I could really do the course to, one, benefit my own golf game, because I've learned something here in this video about, okay, well, where's the miss? How to take into account slope and wind? But also, I think a lot of people like the idea of getting onto tour and caddying. So just talk to me a little bit about this. I know a lot of people will be interested.
Yeah, so obviously I started 17 years ago, and I was lucky, and it's the response I say to a lot of guys, like when they ask me how do I get into caddying, and there's no real pathway to get into it. I obviously got lucky. I was caddying for Dave Horsey, and I was playing. I mean, I quickly realised that I was never going to make it, and I never really thought about a caddying career until he asked me to caddy in a few events. And yeah, so I've been caddying since. But what we've tried to create, like in this course, is we're trying to fast track people onto a stage where all the mistakes we've made early on in our career, we've put it all into this course, so that they can sort of learn quicker with it. And
you mentioned you got like a tour specific one, haven't you, where you could go into this to go, okay, you can get certified, and then we can try and put you in this area where people can, if they want to look for a bag and look for someone to get caddy, they sort of got almost like a qualification.
Yeah. So we basically created 2 online courses, one for club caddying, and then one for tour caddying. The tour caddying obviously is a lot more in depth than the club caddying one, but at the end of it we create a profile on our website, and we have links to different agencies, different management groups, and we're basically trying to create some access to potential job opportunities that come up in the future. And then obviously the club caddying bit is just as important. I mean, we talk about gaining experience. Not everyone's going to come out when they first start caddying and get straight on the PGA Tour, Live Tour, DP World Tour. So going caddying for guys at golf clubs, and gaining that experience, and then obviously if a job on tour arises, then you're in a great position to say, right, well, I've gained enough experience, I'm ready to go and do it.
So if you want more information on that, we'll leave a link down below. I know in the past, like I caddied no longer as you, but just a few events for one of my friends, how I got into it. And it is interesting. It's so interesting. Actually, it will really help your golf game in general. Okay, so I've just missed the green here. In this scenario, we've not short-sided, so actually we've got a bit of an easier miss. But if you have short-sided, which I think a lot of club golfers probably have less control of their golf ball than the guys that you caddy for, what are you going to say to your pro if they've short-sided themselves? You like just forget the flag, put it on the green, we'll make a bogey, we'll take that. What are you sort of thinking?
Like we spoke about on the tee, we're trying to take the big number out. So if we obviously short-sided, again, if there's a slope or wherever's there, let's not try and be too cute with it and try and chip it in or make 3. Let's like take the big miss out of it, put it to the heart of the green, give yourself a great opportunity to make 3, and if you don't, you're tapping in for bogey. So it's trying to just take the big number out, basically.
I think we always think the opposite as a club golfer. We always think, let's get the smallest number possible, whereas you flip that mindset, flip that sort of a bit of a secret.
Because at the end of the day, you have a handicap for a reason. And if you're trying to make par on every hole, well, you're off 10, 15 handicap, you've got to, you get a shot. So it's not like you making 4 net 4.
No, exactly.
So you're getting the shots for a reason.
Right, let's see if we can get this up and down. So this is, again, we repeat what we said at the tee. We were trying to play more into the heart of the green.
And you've hit it, like I said, you've hit it 5 to 10 yards past the flag, and you've hit it, you've given yourself a great chance. Like you said, you've missed it, but you've missed it in the right spot.
No, it's a test my shot game.
Talk me through your shot.
Interesting. I'm thinking, is that what you'd say to Harold?
Yeah, because I think from a caddy perspective, at the end of the day, you're the golfer. You're the pro for a reason. You've got to where you are today because you're a good golfer. Now, the caddies can see something different to the player. So I always like to say, talk me through what you're seeing, because I might be seeing something completely different to you. So I will then want to start putting positive thoughts into your mind.
Okay. So to answer your question, I'm seeing sort of, I'm using 58 downhill. I think don't want it to get run away from me, so a bit more loft. I'm thinking trying to land it between here and here. Out of that lie, it's not going to spin because I'm in the rough.
Okay.
And essentially just trying to play like a chip and run.
Okay, I like that.
And is there any point where you'd go, I don't like that?
Yeah, 100%. But at the end of the day, I would like to give him an option. I say, right, you've got 2 options, I see that.
Yeah.
And you can play that, and you've got 58, and you added a bit of loft to it. But how would you see a 54 coming out? Would you see like landing a little bit shorter and letting it release out?
Yeah.
And just giving you the option, and most of the time, straight away the player will see the shot.
Yeah.
And it will always be the shot that they end up playing.
But you're just offering, I guess it's a subtle way of offering a different one without going, I don't like that.
Yeah,
it's a bit
exactly, and that's why we talked about the positive thoughts.
Yeah.
We want them to go into that chip thinking, we both agree that this is the right shot for this hole.
Hey, there's things I'm learning here. Okay, I still think I like this club just because of the lie. So I'm going to try and play it just in that spot we just said. A little bit of a glorified chip and run. Tell you what, might have hold it. Oh. For taking 54.
So straight away you were fully committed to the shot. You knew what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
You landed it in exactly where you said you wanted to land it, and the outcome
was
pretty good.
More than I ever would be. So just I want to give someone else some more advice. We're giving them some advice from the tee in terms of like a process they can follow. But honestly, like I can really say this right now, whether it's the illusion of where I was aiming, I was more dialed in and more focused on the shot. But as soon as you asked me that question, I was like, no, this is the club. But also, I'm stood over that going, yeah, I'm really picturing what I've described to you.
Yeah.
So as a club golfer, could they go in their mind and go, okay, almost imagine you got Chris on your shoulder, or you got your own caddy and be like, describe the shot.
Yeah, it's just say it out loud sometimes, and your playing partners might think you're a bit weird, but at the end of the day, what works for you? Like if you say, right, I'm going to pitch it in this spot, straight away you're saying it out loud and your brain's taking it in. So now you're focused on the area that you want to land it rather than pitching it on the pin, for example, and it running away from you and you end up with a 20-foot putt.
So interesting. Chris, well, thanks so much, mate.
No worries. Thank you
Appreciate
very much,
it.
Alex.
And don't forget to check out the link below. Really interesting, whether it's for your game, wanting to get to club caddying, or actually end up in the scenario Chris is in right now, caddying on the Live Golf Tour. I'll leave all the link to Caddy Clubhouse down below.
Oh, that went inside door.
All that work.
Great three.